welcome everybody to the 16th round of the 2014 GP4 Offline Championship. We're here for the Russian Grand Prix at the Sochi circuit. The first time the top tier of the OC has gone to Sochi. We have raced here before, as the DTM OC has raced at Sochi in 2011-2012, and the two winners of those DTM races are currently racing in the top class, with Julius Anderson winning in 2011 and Will Nella winning I should say, in 2012 for his return to the series in 2013. And it is also Rick Yan's 22nd birthday today, so happy birthday to Rick Yan. And hopefully he has a good race for his birthday anyway, so he can have a nice present. So probably points would do well for him. But anyway, there are 53 laps around this circuit. It goes around where the 2014 Winter Olympics were held. There's no lap record as we have not raced here before. The tyres we'll be using for the first ever F1 race here will be the super soft tyres. And the driver of the day was given to Alex Southgate, who finished second last time out in Japan, with the race rating a 7 out of 10. So anyway, here is the starting grid for the first ever Russian Grand Prix, and pole position is Jay Mackenzie with Waze Cooper, his teammate, alongside him in second. And on the second row of the grid, it is an all Red Bull second row with Robert Ionescu in third and Miklos Gau in fourth. Fifth place is Joseph Williams for Ferrari, followed by Roman Quagg, sixth for Williams. Seventh place is Will Nella for Williams, and eighth place veteran for McLaren. On the fifth row of the grid is Alex Southgate for McLaren and Kyrosma de Rossa for Lotus, a better qualifying from him. Michael Mocho is 11th, followed by Rick Yan in 12th on his birthday. 13th place is Florin Volker. That was not the good qualifying for him, although we should know qualifying was wet, so no wonder the grid is a little bit jumbled. 14th place is Roberto Gamera, I should say, from Russia. 15th place and 16th on the 8th row of the grid is Julius Anderson and Cameron Anderson for Caterham. 17th Oliver Glazer for Sauber. 18th Robert Hunter for Toro Rosso. 19th place Franco Gamba for Toro Rosso. Amarcard 20th. And on the last row of the grid we have Franco Lopez from Russia and David Greenwood for Lotus in 22nd position. So there we are, the grid for the first ever Russian Grand Prix. And here are the news for this week, and the news is that veteran Vedrina will leave McLaren and join Force India for next season. Roberto Gamba will leave Marussia and will join Sauber, and Lucas Krebs has been banned for the remainder of the season due to problems that have happened in the chat during the races, and Lean Campana will take the Marussia test driver seat, which was occupied before by Lucas Krebs, till the end of the season. So that is the news for this week, quite a bit of news. But the weather for the first ever Russian Grand Prix, the track is dry, sunny, and there is a 0% chance of rain. So here we go. I'm very much looking forward to this. I have no idea how it's going to go, because in real life the races have never been so good, but this is the OC. We are about to find out as the lights go out, and we are underway for the first ever Russian Grand Prix in the top tier of the OC. And Mackenzie's made a fantastic start, and Kuba could be overtaken by both Red Bulls if he's not careful here as they come through turn 1 but head into the actual first corner, or turn 2. But as they're coming through into the corner, will Kuba lose a position? He has lost one. Will he lose to the other Red Bull behind him as Ionescu's made it into second place? And the answer is, I can't see where has Kuba stayed in front. And no, he hasn't. He's dropped to fifth actually. Even Roman Quagg has got past him. That is a nightmare start for Waze Gurus. It's side by side between Will Nella and veteran Vedrina and the McLaren as they're coming towards the end of the first sector. As there's a move on the inside, and oh, there's contact, and Anderson's around, and so is the Sauber of Oliver Glazebrook, and already we had a collision, and oh, Glazebrook has lost his front wing on the curb, I think, and so he's going to have to go into the pits. Will Anderson do the same thing? And I don't think he has, but already we've had a collision on the first lap, so they got through turn 2 without any issues. Glazebrook was just squeezing on the inside of Anderson, but then they made contact, and they went around and then as Glazebrook tried to rejoin, bounced over the curb and unfortunately lost his front wing, so that is not a good start for the British drivers. We're looking on board with Waze Cooper, who's made a pretty bad start. He's dropped 3 positions, so he's now trying to get one of them back by overtaking Roman Quagg coming down the back straight. They're heading towards the left-hander. He'll be on the outside, but will he make it for the inside for the next corner? But no, he doesn't. There's a gaggle of cars behind. Willows and Sick Nella on the inside of Alex Southgate in 8th place as they come through towards the last sector of the lap, heading towards the end of the first lap of the first ever Russian Grand Prix, as Ionescu staying just within touching distance of Mackenzie out in front at the moment, but the question is, will he be able to overtake him coming down the front straight? This is one of the best places, I think, for overtaking, as long as you're close in the slipstream as they come through. And Ionescu is only just 6/10 behind, so he certainly gained. He set the fastest lap, that is for sure, as Willows is going to be under pressure from Will Nella here coming into turn 2. Coming around the right-hander, he's got the slipstream, he's going to be on the inside, and surely Will Nella is going to have this move done and dusted? And the answer is yes, he does. He makes the move up into P6, and Willows needs to be careful because he's now got Alex Southgate for company behind him. Will he try and make a move coming around the long left-hander? And he is actually making a move. He's on the inside, and he's done it. So great move there by Alex Southgate. As we've got a yellow flag, and Ionescu spun. Robert Ionescu has spun from second place, and oh, he's been hit by the Ferrari of Joseph Willows there. And it was looking so promising for Ionescu, and unfortunately, he has screwed up the chance of a possible victory, it looks like. And oh dear me, what has happened to him? Did he? It looks like he did it by himself because he wasn't close to Mackenzie. So it is an error of his own making, and yep, just goes wide, goes over the curb, which forces him to spin, and right on the racing line. Gal managed to avoid it, fortunately, but unfortunately, yes, a few other cars came through. Willows went slightly wide around the corner and couldn't avoid it, but here's another replay. So it goes wide, goes over the curb, and unfortunately just can't control the car from there, and he spins, and then unfortunately, a few cars later, Willows comes through, and he was behind, just been passed, and he went a little bit wide. He didn't, unfortunately, see as Southgate moved out the way quite suddenly. They didn't see Ionescu's car on the line there, and unfortunately hit him. So he's now going to have to go to the pits. As we're now looking about for P3 now between Quag and Kuba, who still hasn't got past. As we're looking at all the cars around the field, Rick Yan's actually already up to 10th, so he's made a good recovery so far. As, Willows, whoa, was he? Did he have some contact there from Cameron Anderson? Looked like he may have done, as they were coming through towards the last couple of corners into the tight left. And was there contact? And the answer was yes, because Willows, for some reason, didn't really get out of Anderson's way, so I don't know what he was really doing there, but anyway, as we're looking on board with Gal, who's currently got way behind, as Cooper has actually now finally got past Roman Quark up into third position. He's now going to be overtaken by his teammate Will Neller, coming through the left-hander, and he makes it up into P4. So was there any contact or no? Quark just went a little bit wide, went over the curves, got a terrible run. Cooper went past, and that allowed Will Neller to get past as well, coming through turn 3. Has another position gain, so everyone has moved up or moved down a place except for Mackenzie, who's out front right now. But we're looking at the battle for P3. This is between Will Neller and Waze Cooper. Neller trying to go around the outside of Cooper, coming into the corner. Will he make it stick? And the answer is no, he can't. But I think Cooper has gone a little bit wide, has he? Yes, he has. He's gone wide. He's going to have a terrible run. Going around the corner. Will Neller make another move? He's on the inside. Is he going to make it through? And yes, he does. He makes it up into P3. Good move there by Will Neller, and now Cooper needs to be careful because he's got Quark, who he's been stuck behind since the start. But he went wide there, Cooper, coming around the corner, and he got a terrible exit, which compromised him coming into the corner, and he made it through up into P3. So if I can have a look at it again, so Neller made it comfortably through there. Cooper didn't really bother defending, but now Cooper's got Quark to contend with, and Alex Southgate in the McLaren as well. As we're looking at the rest of the orders, there's Willows, who is going very slowly through the corner for some reason. I don't know what's going on there, but he seems to be struggling a little bit since he came out of the pits. As we're coming through the last couple of corners, as Cameron Anderson is now in the pits. Has he had a problem? And yes, he has. It was a brake issue that Cameron Anderson has suffered, so it's not been a good start to the race for him, but he pits, and he will get the problem repaired, and he'll go back out on track, but he'll be stone dead last. At this point, I think it's a yellow flag, and oh, and well, and Oliver Glazebrook is now out of the race, so his disastrous start continues, and his first ever Russian Grand Prix has come to an abrupt end. He's obviously suffered problems due to the collision he had with Cameron Anderson. Quite ironic, they had both mechanical problems in the same lap, but Cameron Anderson managed to get his repaired, so I don't know what happened to Oliver Glazebrook. He was way behind Willows, and so we're going to have a look at what happened to the Sauber driver. And it was, looks like it's probably the same problem. I think it says brake problem, I think. And what happened to Anderson? And it was almost it was nearly actually at the same spot as we're looking on board with him. And it was a brake problem. So it was actually almost at the exact same spot nearly. They had problems. So yeah, so that is quite funny. As we're looking at a battle for 10th place, this is between Rick Yan and De Rosa, and De Rosa's made it through into 10th to get that last point spot back from Rick Yan. And he makes it through into 10th position, and they've got Roberto Gamba just behind as well for company as they're coming through the right-hander, heading towards through the fast middle sector of the lap. I quite enjoy it. I mean, it's a track that I personally actually quite like. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it's a somewhat decent track. It's got generally a good flow to it. We're So looking at Franco Gamba's now Roberto Gamba trying to get past Rick Yan, and now his cousin Franco Gamba will be coming back behind us. Anderson's gone wide, and oh, he's spun again, and it goes from bad to worse for Anderson as he eventually rejoins. But it's been a real horrendous race as Inescu trying to make a move there on Anderson coming into turn 2, and he makes contact with him. Anderson was not letting him through very easily there, and there was the contact. Inescu got away unscathed, but unfortunately for Anderson, he went over the curb and lost control of his car again. So sadly, he didn't get away with it as much as he maybe hoped to. But it's been a nightmare race for Anderson. I don't see him being able to get anything out of this unless we have a Monaco type race or something along those lines. I don't know, but we could. There's still plenty of laps to go. So we're looking now on board with Franco Gamba, who's right behind Rick Yan. So Roberto Gamba has actually managed to get past the Chinese drivers. We're looking on board with Franco Gamba coming down the front straight. Will he make a move coming into turn 2? He's got the slipstream. Will he try and make a late one? And he will on the inside. And will he make... Oh, it's contact. And Gamba, has he spun? No, he's actually got away with it. And the Mauritius got through there, Franco Lopez. And Yan comes out right in front of him there. That could have gone a whole lot worse. And Franco Gamba tried a late move. Unfortunately, I could just see that wasn't quite going to work. And Gamba managed to just stop the car and stop it spinning. But then Franco Lopez came through in the Mauritius behind him. Was lucky not to take out Rick Yan as he rejoined the track. Coming through as we come through. And oh, had to brake there to stop hitting the rear end. As now we're looking at the battle between Franco Lopez and Rick Yan. And Franco Lopez has made the move stick. And Franco Gamba battling with the Force India behind there of, I believe it is Armar Carr. And we're looking at them coming through into the right-handed wall. Gamba still make a move. No, he can't make it there. The next time he can make a move is down the back straight. He can't really make a move into any of these corners because there isn't an overtaking spot. So coming through, although Rick Yan does get a terrible run through there. Franco Gamba is right behind him, but he can't quite make it stick here. But he'll make it stick surely on the back straight. Rick Yan is really struggling right now for pace, and Franco Gamba is actually going to go on the inside. Nope, can't quite make it there as Armar Carr is now right behind. He's compromised himself there, Franco Gamba. It's not gone particularly well for him. There's a yellow flag, and Roman Quagg is out. And Roman Quagg, the man second place in the championship, has retired from the race. And that is great news for Jay McKenzie and for the others around him as well. As Roman Quagg has retired from this race, the car has let him down. It's very unusual that's happened, and unfortunately it has let him down. And Roman Quagg is going to retire, and that is good news for Jay McKenzie, who's going to strengthen his championship lead. So the problem was here, and actually then that's where the engine blew. So that was what happened there to the French driver, and unfortunately for him, that is not good for his chances of the championship. I don't think he probably even maybe expected to do as well as he was doing, but regardless, he's going to get absolutely nothing from this race. And well, he has to hope that Jay McKenzie either finishes low down the points, or ideally for him, probably doesn't score any points at all. But who knows if that's going to happen? We don't know. The OC is very unpredictable, so who knows if that's going to happen. And he stopped right in front of the McLaren there. That could have gone pretty wrong. As we're looking at the Ferrari of Florian Volker, who's right behind veteran Petrinas. There's Michael Mocha behind, as Will Nellis actually got past Miguel Escau actually into second place. I thought they were still ahead, but I guess not. And wow, Sonella actually was right behind Gal. Look at the speed he got from the slipstream there, and actually managed to go round the outside and overtake Gal before they even got into the corner. That is very impressive there by Will Nella. As we're looking at the battle for P6 between Vedrina, Mocho, and Florian Volker, who's right behind the McLaren of Vedrina. Will he make a move coming into turn 2? He's right behind him. He's going to have the slipstream. He's going to make it. Will Vedrina defend? Which he does. Volker's on the inside. They just about avoid contact there. And now Mocho is right behind. He could try and make a move around the outside, or is he going to try and go around the inside? And he does go around the inside coming through turn 3. Is he going to make the move stick? And yes, he does. He makes it up into P7. Good racing there by Michael Mocho. And unfortunately for Florian Volker, that move sadly didn't work out for him. Unfortunately, I could see that was not quite going to work out the way that he wanted to. As now Will Nella comes in for a very early stop, although actually there isn't that many laps in this race. Only 53 laps, because the circuit is fairly long, I have to say. As Nella now comes into the pits for the first time. So I imagine, well, I can't imagine he'll do a 3-stop. Well, yeah, it's got to be a 2-stop, surely. I would have thought, as he comes into the pits. And in he comes. And how long will the stop be? And how much fuel do they put in? 22. Yes, that's definitely a 2-stop. No two ways about it. And 8 seconds, not particularly quick, but regardless, he comes out. So as long as he doesn't come out in any traffic, I think he'll be happy. But let's see. I think he came out in 8th place. I think it was. I saw on the graphic as we're looking at the battle for P2, looking between Miguel Gao and Volkers go wide, and Nella has spun, and Nella's gone into the wall, and both Williams are out of this race. And what a disaster it is for them. And Christmas has come early, or all of the Christmases. Every season has come early for Will Nella as he was battling with Florian Volker. They just caught the back end of the car and then spun into the wall in the battle there for P7. And gutting for Will Nella, and his title chances might have just ended right there. We'll have to look at the table at the end to see if he still has any chances. We've only got, I think it's 3 more races after this until the end of the season. So his chances are running out. You can see Volker came back ahead of him there because Nella couldn't make the move stick, but unfortunately came out a little bit too soon, probably quicker than maybe Nella was expecting. And then Nella sadly spun and then went into the wall, and Volker went wide, but fortunately got away without any damage, but has lost a considerable amount of time. As we look once again at the contact, and there it was right there, just clips the rear left tyre there of Volker's car. And he goes wide, and unfortunately for Nella, he spins, and that ends. I'm pretty sure that will end his title hopes. I think, I would imagine, unless he has a miracle. But we'll find out in the driver's standings after this race, as we're looking at Michael Mocho in the Force India coming into the pits for the first time. 16 laps of fuel goes in. There's a car that's coming ahead of him. I think that's Roberto Gamba, I believe. And yes, it is. He's come into the pits. And let's see where he comes back out onto the track. Comes out as a 7.8 second stop. Comes out, looks like in the lower pecking order, outside of the point. Comes out in P14. As Roberto Gamba comes out in P15 actually. Behind him, as we look at Quiroz and Pedrosa in the pits as well for Lotus. 5.9 second stop. So that's pretty quick actually from the Lotus crews. Let's see where he comes back out onto the track. Comes out behind Michael Mocha. Will he come out actually ahead of Roberto Gamba will be the interesting question. It's going to be very close, but I think Roberto Gamba might just about get it. And yes, he does. He comes out ahead. And will he come out ahead of Robert Ionesco is the big question. And yes, he will, although Ionesco is going to go on the inside. De Rosa's not going to make it easy for him, and he blocks him off there as Ionesco actually is going to come into the pits this lap. Anyway, as we're looking at Michael Mocho, who's going to try and overtake David Greenwood coming down the front straight, heading in towards turn 2. And will he try and make a move down into the corner? He's got the slipstream. He's on the inside. Greenwood's not really putting up much of a defence. Mocho's on the inside, and he makes a mistake for P12. The next driver he goes after is Robert Hunter in P11. As you saw on the graphic just a few seconds ago, Robert Ionesco in for his second pit stop of the race. As we're looking at Roberto Gamba trying to make a move on the inside, and they somehow don't make contact, although Roberto Gamba was getting very close to the back of Lotus' car. He's clearly wants, maybe he's looking at what's on the rear wing, which is Venezuela. Maybe he wants to go there, who knows. But as we're looking at the two battling coming through the second sector, he gets a poor run through there, does Greenwood, who I don't believe is actually pitted yet, so he's probably on a heavy fuel load. So coming through the left-hander, heading towards the back straight, looking at Robert Hunter coming through. As we look at Volker running in P6, there's Carr, there's Jan, there's Mocho right behind Hunter. He's going to try and make a move on the, I suppose, the outside, so to speak, coming into the corner. Will he try and make the move stick? And the answer is no, he can't quite make it stick there, so he'll have to wait until the front straight to make his move. And David Greenwood's car has suffered an engine blowout, and that is his race done and dusted. It's doing it right in front of Roberto Gamba and De Rosa there as they both go through, and Greenwood pulls off to the side, and that is his race over and done with. Sad there for David Greenwood, who was struggling. He still had 13 laps, so he was still going to go probably. He was going to probably do a maybe a one-stop strategy. I don't know. It might have been a bit of a stretch, but who knows. But unfortunately, he's going to he won't be making any stops, as his car will be put back in the garage after his engine blows. So there we go. Unfortunate there for the British driver that his race ends in that way, but not really that much you can do about that. As his engine blows and he finally pulls off, just coming towards towards the end of the lap. As we're looking at Franco Gamba running right now in 8th place at the moment. Will his car survive to the end? I don't know. As we're looking at the battle between Robert Hunter and Michael Mocha still going on, despite Mocha making the move stick. Mocha goes a little bit wide there. Will Hunter have the move done? And the answer is no, he can't quite make it stick there. Good battling between these two, as now they've got Roberto Gamba for company behind Hunter, who actually I don't think has pitted yet, and he's still got 17 laps of fuel, so he'll definitely be going for the one stop, that's for sure. As we look at Roberto Gamba closing up to the back of the Toro Rosso, as there's the Lotus in the background of De Rosa, who could possibly take advantage of this if anything happens. As we're looking at the battle for P2 between Gal and Kuba, as we're looking at Roberto Gamba on the inside, trying to make it past Hunter. It was very, very close there, almost contact, but he couldn't make it stick there. But he's going to try and make the move on the straight if he's got enough power. Not quite on the inside. Hunter just about cutting him off, but now he's in the slipstream. But will he try and make a late move? The answer is no, he can't. And oh, and there's a lock up there, and Hunter's gone wide, and he's gone into the wall. So never mind. Roberto Gamba moves up, and Robert Hunter is now out of the Russian Grand Prix. So there we go. That is his race over and out. Just brakes way too late, goes wide, and goes straight into the wall. So there we are. That is his race done. As we're looking at the battle for P10, this is between Rick Yan and Michael Mocha. These two going at it again. The yellow flag still out before the incident for Robert Hunter. His car's getting towed away. As we're looking at Mocha on the inside of Yan, and will he make it stick for P10? And the answer is yes, he does. And there we go. As we're looking at the battle for P7, this is between two Francos, Franco Gamba and Franco Lopez, as Franco Gamba now comes in for a pit stop for Toro Rosso. He's had an okay race so far. Had that collision earlier on, which he managed to just about recover from with Rick Yan. So he now comes into the pits. So Franco Gamba, who's not had the best of luck this year, sadly only scored 1 point so far this season. Avoided everything bad just seems to happen to him, and just not much you can do about that really. Just lady luck doesn't shine on him really. As we look at him coming out of the pits, and where will he come back out onto the track? Will come out in P14 by the looks of it. Ionescu just come across the line, but I think Franco Gamba will come out ahead of him, and yes he does, as Ionescu just coming into shot right there in the background. So into P14 comes Gamba, as these two battling are coming close, as Miklos Gau isn't going to go into the pits this lap. He'll be going in next lap. As we look at the two drivers coming through the final corner onto the front straight, and I don't think Cuba's going to be close enough to make a move into the first corner. As we're looking at McKenzie, who's going by some lap traffic at the moment, goes by the Caterham there. As we're looking at Amar Kar coming through, so I apologise for what is happening on the screen there. As we're looking at the battle between the two Force Indias coming through, heading into the end of the back straight, and Michael Mocha does make it stick past Amar Kar, and makes it up into 8th place, I should say. So coming through, heading towards the final sector of the lap, heading towards the start-finish line. And let's see what either of them going. So Car's still got 18.5 laps. I think Mocho's hasn't got that much fuel left because he pitted fairly early on. But now Amar Kar has got Roberto Gamba for company behind him, coming onto the front straight. So I think Gamba will probably try and make a move into turn 2. As Mackenzie, you can see, has got a 22-second lead over Gal, whose pace is just nowhere near on the same level as Mackenzie's right now. As we're looking at Roberto Gamba coming through in the slipstream, just getting on the inside of Car, heading in towards turn 2. He's not making it easy for him, but Roberto Gamba's on the inside. Surely he's got the move done, has he? No, he doesn't actually. Can't quite make it stick there. So he stays behind him in 10th place, and Mackenzie's actually going to be pitting in a few laps' time. Miklos Gauci will be pitting this lap as he comes across the line. As we look at De Rosa, who makes a move on the inside of Rick Yan there, who seems to be going very slowly for some odd reason, as now Rick Yan going to probably try and make a move back to what happened there. So coming through turn 3, and Yan just went way wide and just, I don't know what happened there, just Interesting moment there as De Rosa just about made it stick into the corner there. That was very close indeed. And only just stayed in front of Jan, who looked to be trying to make a move back on him. Coming into the right hand as we're looking at the battle between the two Caterhams. Cameron Anderson on the inside, and oh, they make contact again, and Anderson spun for the third time this race. He might as well just, well, Cameron Anderson that is, so he might as well just go back to the garage at this point. He's not making many friends as car runs wide and does just about manage to keep it out of the wall there, but Roberto Gamba makes the move into P9 as there's a car coming into the pits. Franco Lopez, Roberto Gamba's teammate, comes in to the pits. But that was close for car. He almost went into the wall. He could have gone into the stationary Lotus there of David Greenwood coming on to the front straight. And Franco Lopez into the pits, so I wonder where he will come out back onto the track. So looking at car coming down the long front straight heading towards turn 2. Still got 17 cars left in this race. Still got a reasonable amount of cars left. So looking at car coming around turn 3 for the 20th time. So look at Kuba running right now in second place. He'll be pitting a couple of times. Ines has gone wide round into turn 2 there, and I don't think he's near anyone, so it's a mistake of his own making, it seems. So I don't know what was going on there, but it's not been a good race for him so far. As now G McKenzie does come in, I should say, his first pit stop, and he'll come out, I presume, in the lead because he had a 24.8 second gap, so I think that should be enough. Not sure, not entirely sure of the length, but it will be close for sure. But we'll find out in precisely about 10-15 seconds time. As there's a yellow flag out on track, and where is that? That is coming around. I think that's turn 3. I'm pretty sure that is. And oh no, it's Roberto Gamba. Oh no, he's having actually a really good race for Mauricio, but he just went wide. Did the same thing Inescu did earlier on and just spun. Unfortunately, didn't spin on the racing line, so nothing else fortunately will happen to him unless he loses his front wing on the curb as he rejoins. But unfortunately for him, he's having, as I said, a good race, but unfortunately it's all turned upside down, that is for sure. So looking at Florian Volker, who is in the pits for Ferrari. And let's see where he comes back out onto the track. 7.4 second stop, not particularly quick. And he comes out in P5, I think, by the looks of it. And yes, he will, because Michael Mocho is nowhere close to him. He comes out in P5. We're making, obviously, one more stop before the end of the race. Just look at McKenzie, who has actually come out in second place, so didn't quite have enough to come out ahead of his teammate, who was actually just ahead of him there. As the two Caterhams once again going at each other. Again, is Cameron Anderson trying to go around the outside of Julius Anderson. Can't quite make it stick there as Anderson goes a little bit wide, and now Cameron Anderson will surely make it around the outside, and yes, he does. Makes it past Julius Anderson, finally makes the move stick in the battle for P16. So I bet probably Julius Anderson will not be particularly happy about that. The fact that Anderson is doing this when he's generally not had a good race. As now Waste Cooper actually does come into the pits on this lap, and I don't think he actually had that very much fuel left, so he's on red, so it's quite unusual they make it on red, but he has managed to make it in, I think, is that 0.4 fuel? I can't quite tell. 0.3 I think that is actually, so that was very close indeed. But Cooper does now come in for his first out of 2 stops actually, so he'll be pitting once more before the end quite late on. So he pits for all 4 tyres. The question is, will he come out ahead of Miklas Gal? These two have been battling throughout the majority of the race so far. So where is he going to come out? And I think Gal's probably going to come out ahead, I think, because Gal's come across the finish line. And it's going to be close, I think, actually. Will Cooper come out ahead? It's going to be the big question as he comes out the pits. Where is Gal? And there is Gal. So will Cooper come out ahead? He comes out in front of Gal, but Gal's going to try and surely go on the inside. And will he try and make the move stick on him? And oh, there's contact! And Gal's made contact with Cooper, and he's lost his front wing. And Cooper's lost his rear wing as well. And oh my word, dramatic scenes we've seen here. And I mean, if McKenzie didn't have a comfortable lead before, he certainly has one now. So Cooper had just come out ahead of Gal, and Gal was desperately trying to make a move on the inside. And they just caught each other. There was contact right about there. And Miklas Gal's front wing goes, and so does Cooper's rear wing. And obviously you can repair rear wings in this game. In real life you couldn't. But regardless, they're both going to have to go into the pits, and the incident between the two will be under investigation and we'll see if there'll be a penalty for that. I don't know if there will be. I mean, it's a tough one, really, I have to say, but we will see what the stewards have to say about that. As we're looking now at Florian Volker, as there's Jamie McKenzie just flexing his muscles up front at 40.9 for the fastest lap, as he's actually coming to pass the Mercedes of Waze Kuba as he comes around, and Volker's gone wide, and he just about manages to avoid the wall there as he was going to overtake the Mercedes of Kuba there, the damaged Mercedes of Kuba, might I add, as he came around, and Kuba was not making it easy for him as they come through, and Volker went wide there and skidded actually and just managed to avoid the wall. That was incredibly close. That was good car control from Volker there to avoid the wall, so he is a very, very lucky man indeed that he has not damaged the car and he's still in this race. Came through, and I could see the Fly Emirates matching the colours of his car, but he didn't want to fly out of Russia just yet. He wanted to stay in Russia, although I can imagine why he'd probably want to leave. But regardless, he does just about avoid the wall. You can see, look how close he was. I thought for sure he was going to hit it, but he controls it very, very well indeed, and still in this race. As we're looking at a battle for P9, this is between Robert Ionescu and Joseph Willows, coming down the front straight, and it is not Robert Ionescu, it's in fact Nicholas Gal, because Ionescu is actually just behind Gal, as Gal is now on the inside of Willows coming into turn 2, and surely he's got the move done. And the answer is yes, he does, and now Ionescu surely is going to have the move on Willows if he's not careful, if he will try and go around the outside into turn 3. Is he close enough? I don't think he's actually not quite close enough, so he's not going to be able to make it there. As we're looking on board with Waze Kuba down all the way down in 14th place after that pit stop, so he dropped down a lot further down than I thought actually. That is, I was not expecting him to drop down that far. I was only expecting him to drop down to the lower reaches of the top 10. There's a yellow flag out somewhere, and it's Julius Anderson this time. And it was because Roberto Gamba had just come out of the pits. Anderson was on the inside, and was there contact between the two? And oh yes, there was. There was, and Roberto Gamba kept the position, but there was contact there. You can see Roberto Gamba trying to keep around the outside. I don't know why he did that, to be honest. Roberto Gamba, he was never going to make the corner there. It just, there was no room, so I think that was a bit unnecessary for Roberto Gamba. He should have just let him through there a lot easier than he should have done. As we're looking now at a battle for P7, this is between P6 I should say. This is between Gal and De Rossa. Gal on the inside of De Rossa heading towards turn 2. Will he make the move stick? The answer is he does, and he makes it up into P6, trying to recover positions after that collision with Kuba. As we're looking at Rick Yan running in P8 at the moment on the birthday in the points. He'll be pitting very soon though, but we'll see how the rest of the race goes for him. There's Willows in P9, Ionescu behind him in P10. So coming through the first sector, although Ionescu's actually got a good run through the corner. Will he try and make a move? Ionescu defending to the inside, but he's going to compromise his run coming through the corner there, as we're now actually at the halfway point of the race. As Ionescu comes around, I know he's right behind Willows, who he's surely going to be overtaken on the back straight, I'd imagine, unless he has a very good defence. As Ionescu is right behind him, coming through the right hand. They've got traffic ahead of them, so I don't think Willows is actually close enough to get the slipstream off the car in front of him. So I think Ionescu is going to surely try and make a move on the back straight here. He's got the slipstream. Will he try and make the move into the corner? Ionescu trying to go to the inside and for the outside of the corner, but he can't quite make it stick there, so he has to stay behind. He has to wait for the straight. And oh, there's a crash, and De Rossa's gone off, coming off the back straight. And oh, he nearly collides with the Toro Rosso there. I think that was Franco Gamba. Coming around the corner there. That was very, very close indeed, but an error there from De Rossa has forced his retirement from the race, because he just goes wide there, goes over the curb, and unfortunately just didn't avoid the edge of the wall there, and he nearly, oh, that was so close with Franco Gamba there. That could have really taken him out, and that would have just summed up his luck right there, but they fortunately got away with it. Thank goodness for that. As Rick Yan comes in to the pits, as he comes in, and let's see how far let's see where he comes out of the track. So Miguel Garza actually received a 15-second time penalty for causing the incident with Waze Kuba. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about that, to be honest. I think that's a little bit harsh. But anyway, he's got the penalty nonetheless. As Rick Yan comes out of the pits, an 8.1 second stop. As Mackenzie comes around in the first corner, Alex Southgate is in P2 once again. He can't believe his luck in Southgate. It just seems to go so well for him. It's quite unfortunate that this will be his final season. That this is going to be his final season as well, as he announced he's going to retire at the end of the season. Now Kuba trying to battle with another Red Bull, but this time it's Robert Ionescu, not Miguel Gal. Would be so annoyed. In fact, he's been stuck battling Red Bulls for the majority of this race. So he won't be happy about that at all. So right now, actually, Florian Volker's in P3 right now. So Southgate in P2 with Vadrina in P4. So it's quite a jumbled up order once again here at the first ever Russian Grand Prix. And I have to say, it has been a fantastic race so far. A lot better than I don't know really what I was expecting. I mean, the OC, sometimes it can have good races, sometimes it won't. But hey ho, as we're looking at Kuba now, has he made the move stick on Ionescu? And yes, he has. He moves up into P8. As they're coming through, left-handers, there's a little bit of a lag there on the screen as they come through, but he makes the move stick regardless for the position, as there's Greenwood's car just on the side of the track. As now Cooper's already on the back of Joseph Willows in the Ferraris. They're coming down the front straight, and surely Cooper's going to make a move stick coming into turn 2. He's right behind Willows. He's going to surely get on the inside and make the move stick. He's side by side with the British driver, and surely Cooper's got the move done. And yes, he does. He makes it up into P7, goes a little bit wide, and he goes over the curb. So Willows actually could try and take the position back here, because Cooper didn't get a good run out the corner. Willows is on the inside, and will he take the position back? It's side by side between the two. Cooper's still now, fortunately, on the inside, the right one, for the corner, and he does get the position, gets P7, and keeps it. As now Mackenzie's actually coming up to lap some of these guys. It's the two Francos behind each other there. As we're looking at Florian Volker, who's actually right behind Alex Southgate for P2 right now, as they're coming down the front straight. As we're looking at them heading towards turn 2. Will Volker make a move? He surely will. He's got the slipstream. It might be a late one, I don't know, but will Volker try and make a move? He's got the slipstream. He's going to try and make a move on the inside. He's got the speed. He's going to try and make it on the inside. Surely that's not going to work. And oh, they just about avoid contact. But Southgate gets a poor run at the corner, and surely Volker's got P2 now. And he does just make it through into P2. That was close racing, but they fortunately managed to avoid contact. So there we go. And luck once again going is seemingly going his way for Volker. I mean, he generally has had semi-decent luck, I guess you could say, as he comes into the pits for, I believe, the final time. I don't imagine he'd pit before the end, I don't know, as this actually is Joseph Willows, I should say, not Florian Volker. But anyway, so Willows does indeed go to the end. 24 laps of fuel in the car. And Ali comes. And he's going to come out outside of the points. And let's see where he comes out on track. Will he come out still in P12, or will he come out behind Rick Yan in the Sauber as he's come across the line? So it's going to be close, but I think Rick Yan may come out in front, and yes, he does. He comes out in front of him. Veteran Madrina comes in for his final stop of the race, slightly less fuel than Willows actually. As Gal goes past, Carr goes past as well. Waste Cooper, I think, is going to go past. So Vadrina is going to come out in P6 by the P7 actually, I should say, by the looks of it. Ionescu's just come across the line, so yep, Vadrina will be in P7, so he'll be in somewhat clear air. As there is Mackenzie, actually the race leader, who's lapped Ionescu, who's lapped a lot of the field so far. I don't think he'll lap the entire field before the end, as he's obviously still got to pit once more before the end. Battle between the two Francos possibly brewing. Franco Gamba currently in the last points position in 10th. He'll want to get some more points on the board, as he's only got one so far this season. Armar Carr is actually going to be pitting this lap for Force India. He's kept himself out of trouble really. And Michael Mocho has not had a bad race apart from the collision he had. He's kept it relatively clean, but just hasn't quite gone the way he was hoping. As now Alex Southgate comes in for a final stop for McLaren. So I'll be interested to see if he comes out ahead of Florian Volker or not. Well, he'll come up behind him, but it'll be interesting to see when Florian Volker. I need to remember it was Willows that pitted before, not Florian Volker. There we go. As Southgate comes in, so it'll be interesting to see his pace if he comes out ahead of Volker when he does eventually pit. As Armar Carr is set to come into the pits this lap as well, as he's coming through the final sector of the lap. He's got Gal chasing him behind him, but he'll come into the pits nonetheless. There's Greenwood's car on the side, as Gal's right behind, but Gal will overtake him anyway as Carr goes off to the right hand side and heads towards the fairly long pit entry. And obviously they've got a fairly long pit exit as well, as he comes into the pits for the final time of the Grand Prix. 35 laps gone as the Ferrari's had to come in. So that must be surely for Florian Volker. So Volker's going to be coming in pretty soon, I'd imagine, as the car comes in for the first time. Comes in for the final time, I should say. I don't know why I'm saying. I can't remember random phrases sometimes. Oh dear me. Anyway, as car comes out the pit, 7.4, not particularly quick. Comes out onto the track. Comes out in P9, but it looks like he comes out behind his teammate Michael Motras. There's Franco Gamba coming down the front straight. So yeah, Carl will be coming out in P9, so he'll be coming out in plenty of clear air. So it's looking pretty good for him right now, as Florian Volker does indeed come in for his final stop of the race. So the question is, will he come out ahead of Alex Southgate on the track? That would be the next big question. So we will see as Volker comes in. He still actually had plenty of fuel. He could have gone for another. He actually could have gone for another, probably maybe another 2 laps even. But he comes in anyway. 21 laps of fuel, and let's see where he comes out on track. Will he come out ahead? Well, it's Southgate will be the big question. He comes out of the pits, and where is Southgate? Has he come across? He hasn't come across the line yet, because it will tell you the gap as Volker now comes out the pit exit. So where is Southgate? Will Southgate come ahead? I think Volker is going to come out ahead, and yes, he will, because Southgate didn't come across the line. So Volker does come out comfortably ahead by 6 seconds, actually, might I add, of Southgate. So that was good, as we're looking at Julius Anderson, who suffered a problem, and Julius Anderson has suffered an engine blowout, and that is his race over, as Joseph Willows has spun coming through, and there's a car off, and that is Franco Lopez for Mauricia, who has spun off and is doing an interesting way, and is doing a very interesting way of rejoining there. But that is not good for Franco Lopez as he goes into the wall there, but I don't think he's damaged his car, fortunately enough. This is a battle for P11 on the outskirts of the points, and that's not going to do Willows any favours if he wants to get any points. As we're looking at him coming around, he can't quite make the move stick there, and just, it's got a little bit too close for comfort, those two, and unfortunately they spun. And Willows lucky not to get collected by the 2 cars that went by, so he dropped a couple of positions. And Franco Lopez, who eventually rejoined, it took him a while, but did eventually rejoin back onto the track. And as we see here, so he reverses into the wall. He's lucky he didn't damage his car when he went into the wall there, but he just needed that to kickstart the car back into life. And then this was the failure that Julius Anderson suffered coming down the front straight. And so that is his race done. So it's been a pretty horrendous race for both Caterhams, you have to say. Not been too good for them at all, as he pulls off just coming towards turn 2. And so there we go, that is his race done. As we're looking now at Jamie Mackenzie coming into the pits for his final time. We're looking at a battle here for, I think that was P4, I think it was. As and Roberto Gamba is now off again for Mauricio. And where is that? That's just before the front straight, actually, interestingly enough. And what happened here? And he lost it. Was there any contact from Willows behind? And no, there was no contact at all, so it was of his own making. Not good there for Roberto Gamba. As Mackenzie has we resume looking at Mackenzie, who comes in for his final stop. 6 seconds it was. And let's see where he, well, he'll come out back in P1, but where will he come out traffic wise will be the interesting thing. And he comes out, so he comes out ahead of Franco Gamba, who's currently right now in the points. Hallelujah. It'll be his second points finish of the season, if he does finish in the points. I'm not going to say it's guaranteed to finish in the points at the moment, but who knows, as we look at Waze Cooper right behind Nicholas Gowers. They're battling once again, but Cooper, of course, will be pitting one more time before the end of the race. So look at Benjamin Jr., who's looking behind these two to see if anything will happen between them. But as we look at Cooper coming onto the back straight, will he try and make a move coming in? Well, coming off the back straight will be the interesting thing. He's got the slipstream. Will he try and make it round the outside for the inside for the right-hander? Easy, just about, and he's going to make the move stick. And is he? Or is Gal going to hold it? Nope, Gal stays behind him, but it won't matter. I suppose Gal will probably just let him go at the fact that he'll be pitting this lap anyway, as Gal actually will be pitting in a couple of laps' time as well. So, as Cooper will be coming into the pits, and he does now come in. So, I suppose Gal, maybe it was tactical, I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see, because Gal still got a few, probably about 2-3 laps before he comes in for his final stop. It'll have much fresher tyres than Kuba will, but as we know, Mercedes is generally the best car. Second best being probably Williams. Third place, Red Bull, I'd say, third place, as we've seen this season. As you look at Waze Cooper coming in to this for his final stop, 7.2, not particularly quick. He'll come out in the lower ends of the points, and as he comes back out onto the track, and he'll come out in P9 by the looks of it. And yes, he will, because Franco Gamba has not come across the line yet. So we'll see if he'll recover any positions. There's actually there's a car coming into the pits, and that's Franco Gamba has actually come in for his final stop of the Grand Prix for Toro Rosso. He's actually he's kept himself relatively out of trouble, but we've still got 12 laps to go. I pray nothing happens to him. I pray to the Russian gods, to Vladimir Putin, to not do anything to him before the end of the race. But anyway, as he comes out of the pits, 8.7 seconds, it's quite a slow stop. He comes out, I think it was in P13, as Gal's right now in P4, the Zinescu in P6. So looking at Carr battling with his teammate Michael Mocho for P7, as Mocho gets a bad run coming onto the back straight, and surely Carr is going to make a move stick on him coming into the right-hander, and surely he's going to make it stick. He's just trying to go around the outside. Will he try and make the move stick here? It's going to be very close, and nope, he can't make it stick there. I need to see if actually Mocho is pitting again before the end of the race. I can't remember, as we've got a yellow flag out. And what is that? And that's Rick Yan. No, Rick Yan on his birthday. He sadly is not going to get any points. It's not quite the birthday present that he wanted. And oh dear, that's not good for him. And he pulls off to the side of the track. I couldn't tell what problem it was, a mechanical problem of some sort. And unfortunately for Rick Yan, he's going to get no points today. It's a shame for the birthday boy, but that's just the way things are, sadly. Just you can't help it if the car breaks down on you. But there we are. As we look at Nicolas Gal coming in for his final stop of the race. So the question is, will he come out ahead of Waze Cooper? Those two have been battling throughout pretty much the entire race. But I imagine whoever comes out in front, I think if Cooper will most likely come out in front. I don't know if Gal will be able to close on him or not. I don't know, but Gal comes out of the pits. As an old Robbie Inescu's come in the pits on the same lap, and they've double stacked Red Bull, and oh dear me, Ionescu is going to be delayed heavily in the pits here. Oh no, 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 no. It's not. It's once again, sadly, not good luck for the Red Bull team. It's not just been for Ionescu, both for Gal and Ionescu. They've had bad luck this season, sadly, contrary to what you might think. As we're looking, as it was a 27.6 second stop for Ionescu there, not good at all. As we're looking at Roberto Gamba coming in for his final stop of the race for Marussia, as he comes in for his final stop, and let's see where he comes back out onto the track. 5.5 second stop, and he comes back out on the track in P12, so he comes up behind his cousin Franco Gamba. He's going to come out ahead, I think, possibly, of Cameron Anderson. As we're looking at Ionescu, who's come out ahead of Franco Gamba right now, and he'll obviously be going to the end. So the question is, where will he finish in the points? He's got Willows ahead of him. I don't know if he'll be able to close up on him. And oh no, there's contact between the two Force Indias, and Mocho's in the wall, but he's not got any damage, I don't believe. Carr has spun and he's rejoined, although he's gone along the grass, so he hasn't made a great rejoin of it. But unfortunately, the rule number one, guys, is never hit your teammate, and Carr goes into the back of Michael Mocho there, and Mocho, who was actually oh, I don't know why, actually, because Mocho was pitting on this lap as well. It was unnecessary by Carr. He should have just let him go into the pits, just waited a few more corners. Bit of sloppy play there from Carr, to be honest. And oh dear me, that is not going to go well for the team. As we look at Nicolas Gal trying to make a move past Amar Carr, coming into the first corner, and there's nearly contact. They get away with it. Carr doesn't get a particularly good run, neither does Gal, but Gal is right behind him, has got the slipstream, and he's actually going to go on the inside, unless Carr can hold it round the outside. Gal is on the inside for turn 3, but will he be on the outside for turn 4? And no, he isn't. He makes the move stick for P6. So the question is, will he be able to catch Waze Cooper ahead of him? I don't know. I think he's a bit too far behind for that. As we're looking at Alex Southgate, who's currently right now, running in P3. He'll get yet another podium by the looks of it, as Volker is way too far ahead of him to make it back. So we're looking at Waze Kuba, who's battling with veteran Vedrina, and he's on the inside, and he's going to take P4 off the Croatian driver, who we've hardly seen at all this race, really. He's kept very quiet, but he's down to P5. Actually, Gal is 13 seconds behind him, so no way on earth is Gal going to be able to close up on Kuba before the end of the race. We're looking at Mackenzie coming around. We just have 3 laps left of the Russian Grand Prix. Here is Robert Ionescu battling here with Joseph Willers. He's going to make them stick for P8. No, he isn't. Willers goes wide, though. Surely Ionescu's got it done, and does make it stick for P8. As Willers, sadly, not a great race for him compared to his teammate Volker, as Ionescu makes it stick for P8. So he held him off there, but just went wide, and Ionescu was like, thank you very much, and took the position away. So as we're now looking, we've just got 2 laps to go of the Russian Grand Prix. I have to say, it's been a very good race. Very, very good indeed. We've got a yellow flag out somewhere. Something's happened, and who is it? It is, it's Robert Ionescu's out. Robert Ionescu's out of the race, and I don't think it's a mechanical failure. I think he may have crashed, and that is a very unusual place to do it. That's coming towards, that's the, with 3 corners left, that's coming towards the pit exit there. So I'd like to see what happened there. He's running in P8, so he got past Willows. He was behind Car. He wasn't actually going to be able to close up on him. So he was coming through, and he just went wide there and just went into the wall. Oh dear me, that's not good there for Robert Ionescu. That is a very bad error from him, and unfortunately he's going to get no points from this race, as we're now on to the final lap of the Russian Grand Prix. And wow, what a race it has been. Mackenzie has led from the beginning and has never really looked back. Florian Volker, what a race he's had, up 11 positions. He had a terrible qualifying, but it was partly down to the weather conditions because they were quite unpredictable. He's in second. Southgate in third. He's had once again yet another good race. Was in a brief battle for P2 with Volker, but Volker ultimately won out on that one. Kuba's right now in 4th. Waze Kuba is in 5th. Gal 6th. Car 7th. Willers 8th. Franco Gamba is actually going to get some points by the looks of it in 9th, with Michael Mucho, the last car, in the points in 10th, as Jamie Mackenzie is set to come round, coming down the back straight for the final time. It has been the perfect race for him. Everything that could have gone right for him has gone right. Both Williams retiring. Waze Kuba finishing down in P5. The Red Bulls suffering issues as well. Everything that could have gone his way has gone his way today, and he is taking one step closer towards the title as he's coming round the final few corners. Comes round the tight left, now the right, heading towards the penultimate couple of corners, heading towards the pit entry. It's been a great race for Jamie Mackenzie. He's got one step closer towards the title as he's coming round the final corner, and Jamie Mackenzie, as he comes round the final turn, he will win the first ever Russian Grand Prix and take one step closer towards the title. Congratulations to him. He comes across the line in first. Waze Kuba will come across the line in P4 as there's a battle for P5 brewing. Will veteran Virginia just hold off Gal for 2 more corners? Coming round, Virginia just about holds Gal. Will he try and make a dive into the final corner? And well, he's actually still got the slipstream before the line. Will Gal try and make it? No, I don't think he's not got a great run off the corner, and Virginia will just hold off Gal for P5. Gal comes across the line in P6. Amar Kar set to come across the line in P7 for Force India. So well done to him as he comes across the line now. It's P7 for him, so he'll be pretty satisfied with that. Joseph Willows, not a great race for him, sadly. Just he's quite inconsistent this season as he comes across the line in P8. And there is one of the drivers of the race. Florian Volker will take P2 for Ferrari. Well done to him. It's been a great race by him. And Franco Gamba finally has another bit of luck as he'll come across the line and take 9th position for Toro Rosso. And there we are. He comes across the line. As there's Alex Southgate, who will come across the line in P3. So another very well-deserved podium for him as he comes across the line in P3. Behind him, Michael Mucho takes the last point spot just ahead of Roberto Gamba. It could have been so much better for him had he not made so many mistakes. As Cameron Anderson, despite all the spin to the end of this race, comes across the line in P12. Not that far off, actually, the points, to be fair. So who knows, if he hadn't made so many mistakes himself, what he could have done. As Franco Lopez is set to come across the line in P13 for Marussia. As he finally comes across the line, the last car. And there we go. That is the race over, the first ever Russian Grand Prix over. And I have to say, that was a very good one, and I hope it does continue for the Russian Grand Prix preceding it. So here are the full race results. So Jamie McKenzie won ahead of Florian Volker in second, Alex Southgate third, complete the podium, Wade Goodman in fourth, Veteran Verdun in fifth, Armor Car sixth, Miguel Gal dropping down to seventh due to that 15-second time penalty, and we forgot about that. Joseph Willis in eighth, Franco Gamba in ninth, and Michael Mocha complete the points in 10th, with Roberto Gamba 11th, with the fastest lap actually being set, quite funny enough, by Robert Ionescu with a 1:40.6, Cameron Anderson in 12th, Franco Lopez in 13th, Robert Ionescu still classified despite retiring in 14th, with Rick Yan, Julius Anderson, Carosima de Rosa, Robert Hunter, David Greenwood, Will Neller, Romain Quag, and Oliver Glazebrook retiring from this race. So there we are, that's 4 race results. In the driver's standings, McKenzie takes another step towards the title. Look at the gap, he's now got to Romain Quag in second, with Will Neller, who I'd probably say is out of the title race. I think he is out of the title race, so I think it will be just between the top two, with Waze Cooper up to 4th, Ionescu down to 5th, Florian Volker up to 6th ahead of Willows, Milos going 8th, Southgate up to 9th ahead of Vidrina and Carr in 10th and 11th respectively. 12th is Ricky Hartzane, 13th Julius Anderson, 14th Rick Yan, Oliver Glazebrook 15th, Franco Lopez 16th, Roberto Gamba 17th, Robert Hunter 18th, David Greenwood 19th, De Rosa in 20th, Michael Mocha 21st, Cameron Anderson 22nd, and in 23rd position will be the Toro Rosso driver of Franco Gamba. Despite getting those 2 points, not quite enough to take him off the bottom. There we are, he has 3 points now on the board. So there we go, that's the driver standings, and now we'll take a look at the constructor standings, as Mercedes haven't quite won it yet, but they've extended their gap to Williams in second, Ferrari move above Red Bull into 4th, McLaren in 5th, Force India in 6th, Sauber in 7th, Marussia 8th, Caterham 9th, Lotus 10th, and Toro Rosso currently last in 11th. Whew, so there we are. That has been the Russian Grand Prix. I have to say, that's definitely been one of the best races this season, and that's the first ever one we've had, so who knows how well it will do in the future. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget, as usual, vote for your driver of the day and give the race a rating out of 10. Thanks for watching everyone, and we'll see you for the next race, the US Grand Prix in Austin, Texas. Thanks for watching everyone, and we will see you there.